this year's going to be one of those moments where I look back and it's going to be a defining point in time that changed everything. I wanted to give a bit of an introduction to start off with to my situation. There's been a lot of different updates, which I'll talk about soon. But for the moment, I've been a marketing designer for the last 20 years. Well, I've been in marketing for the last 20 years. In some form or another, I've worked at a marketing agency or a graphic design agency. I wouldn't call myself a designer for that entire time, but I've been working as a designer and art director for the last 5 years for myself, doing branding and marketing and events and mainly working in print. That's my background. I've done a few websites recently, and that's a stepping stone into the digital world, but there's things that people don't talk about in design. I had massive imposter syndrome throughout my entire design career, and it showed, and it makes a difference. And I think I never really fully was comfortable to be like, hey, look at my design, because I myself know that I'm not the perfect finisher. I have nice ideas, I have good ideas and good concepts, and things work nicely, but I'm not the perfect final executor. There's people who are much better. There are artists out there who do much better work than I can, and I'm a designer. I would employ an illustrator to do something. But this is where it starts to get a little bit hazy, because as a designer today, you're expected to do everything. Everything. Like, what does that mean? I'm a designer, and therefore it means I need to be an illustrator, a web developer, and the point is, at what point did being a designer include every other job title under the sun that even incorporated some form of design? You're expected to do everything. And the truth is, you can't do everything. You have a team of people to do things like that. You have copywriters, you have art directors, you have designers, you have art workers, you have web developers. There is a team of people who are dedicated at doing what they do, and there's people that cross over into different gaps and things like that, but there's very few people who are truly one-man bands. So how does that work out when you're a designer with imposter syndrome and expected to do everything? Kind of badly. You have a lot of self-doubt, and things don't go always the way you expect it. And I'm always looking at my work thinking, "Ugh, I could do better." So, enter Tana. I started working with ways to effectively manage my business with a software, and I started doing it all with Notion and a few other tools, and I never really clicked with any of them. And eventually, as I said, found Tana, and I didn't click with it straight away, but when I eventually got it, after like playing around with it for a little bit, it's all the other tools I was using, they all started to click as well, because it took Tana to break that for me. It took Tana to break through to me understanding what I was supposed to be doing with these tools. And as things progressed, I just started building things out. I started building out a project management system. I started building out various different tools. And each little thing came, and I was very active on the community. Well, I say active, I wasn't talking in the community at the time, but I was following everything. And one thing led to another, and eventually I started to grab templates, and I did what I did with every other template that I got. I had Photoshop templates and InDesign and all these Adobe softwares, and I did the same thing I did always. Tore them apart bit by bit, worked out how they were done, and then was able to replicate that. So that's what I did as a designer. It was very obvious to me that that was the first place to start. And it became a habit of mine throughout my career that when you were in an agency or something like that, you would look over and see people doing things. And I would ask, how did you do that? and I would get the file later, and I would go through it. So the same thing really happened here with Tana, was that I just grabbed people's templates, went through everything, had a little look, and explored and saw how to do things. People like Lucas from Cortex Ventura, Ev Chapman, Andre with Orbital. I followed all of that stuff, RJ Nesta, everything that I could possibly like sap up, sync up, soak up. And slowly but surely I learned more and more about Tana. It got to a point about 9 months ago when Nick and I sat down and started talking, and that's when things really took off. I started to create products, I started to create templates and put them online, and this was the first time I really truly sold, outside of something like eBay, but this was the first time I truly sold a package like this. And I put it through rigorous testing, and that imposter syndrome popped up all the way through it, but I got it out there, and within the first month or so it had 100 downloads. It was a free template, so it wasn't making me any money, but it was indication that people were interested in what I was doing and there was a need for it. So I'd identified a little gap in the market inside of the Tana landscape, which was looking for project management tools and a template that gave them something a little bit more structured that other things could plug into. And that was the intention with the first one, and I refined it further with focus streams. Maybe the message didn't come across for the first one, but that one now is replaced by focus streams. And I wouldn't have really been able to get there without being able to have that soundboard with Nick. So when Nick and I started talking 9 months ago, that's when, as I said, all this took off, but that's when I started to understand that there was value in what I'd already created for my own personal system. So just now it was more of a case of working out how to productize it. So we did all of that. I went through all of that. He guided me through so many different things. And I came out of it on this side with a product that's launched. It's had over 180 downloads. And I don't know what more I could turn around and thank people for at this moment in time. There's an early group of people who are in my community and an early group of people who are supporting me on YouTube. At the time of this video, there's 130 of you. So thank you for that early support. These early wins with product sales and the early support from subscribers really shows that it was worth my effort to double down on. And well, now I guess I'm saying I've just been recognized as a Tana ambassador, and it looks like I started this year as one thing and I'm ending this year as something else. And there's all of you guys to thank for that, for giving me the confidence to move forward into it. It's also proof that you can build your business around something like this. Client work started to drop off through when the war hit here, and this year's been just as difficult. And this is something that not everybody talks about, is you might, as a freelancer, it's not as easy to just go out there on social media and just blast it. A lot of people think it is, and you can do that, but to get traction is not always as simple as you think. Post and get noticed and do things, sure, but you have to advertise your work, you have to show what you're doing, you have to actually have stuff behind you in order to do that. So you either combat and you make stuff up and you get into the world, or you don't. But to tell you the truth, my motivation for doing that in the design world is very small, which tells me something. I'm not interested in doing it. So, with all that being said, and me pouring my heart out on camera, what does all this mean going further forward? So, I'm now doing this full time, and this is something that I'm going to be bringing more of. I'm going to be bringing more updates for the Focus Pro template. I'm going to be bringing more workshops and events that you can attend. There will be more partnerships with Nick at Strategic Design, and I'll let him do the full announcements for all of those. But just know that there will be things coming and things will be announced in the coming weeks. We created the Business and Tana workshops together, and they will be continuing. We'll have different editions of those as things pop out. We have edition 2 planned for November the 27th, and that should all be picking up around then. With all that being said, there's a few things that I want to show you guys of what I'm utilizing within the system that allows me to be able to do these things and create these templates the way that we're doing them. There's some advanced building techniques that we can talk about on a surface level, and just to give you an idea of how all these different things come together. What does all of this work start to look like? I've been very much so fixed in the Tana space for at least 2 years working on these sort of things, and where we've gotten to is a system which effectively I sit down at my desk every single day and Tana tells me what to do. So there's a couple of different things that you can do from this, and there's a few key little, well, almost advanced building techniques now. Nick and I have used these techniques in so many different applications that at this point they're almost a method. I have this little button on my today page, which is this magnet item, and what this is doing is effectively a dynamic command. Nick calls them functional queries, and I'm going to keep that name because it's very much so his invention or his creation. I've just used them in all sorts of different ways. There's so many use cases for these functional queries, but what we're doing here is we're effectively running all of these commands, so every item that's active is searched for and pulled to the today page. So Tana plans my day for me without me actually having to do much effort. All of these items are overdue or they need to be completed, so I get the full functionality from that all perfectly set out. The next thing is a clean and organize function, which is utilizing several different aspects. If I set all these things to an unscheduled time, or reschedule them all for tomorrow, I can then hit this button for the clean and organize, and what's going to happen is Tana's going to automatically organize all those items into the correct space. So this is the system that we built out. It's utilizing the move commands within Tana to create structure and to create order within your system. There's more little tricks and stuff that we can do with advanced commands features as well, where we have something called snips. And snips utilize a basic command in Tana called Tana paste in a really powerful way, where you can have task structure or even projects or things like that created. For example, I have this YouTube video snip, and if I open him up, you'll see we have a bunch of actions that are set out underneath him. What's going to happen is it's going to create this YouTube video as a video tag, and it's going to give me the automatic structure that I need for all the actions I need to do to set out to complete this task. This is all automatically set, and the origin is all set according to it as well. So all of these things will automatically be assigned to something if I turn around and set this video up as the business in Tana. It will pull in all of those commands and actions for the refresh to happen. It will pull in all those commands and effectively give me a task structure for that video immediately. So I've gone from being able to do everything within a short frame of time within the project structure and start ticking things off. I hope in that short time I've been able to demonstrate how you can build out these really powerful experiences inside Tana by just chaining different command events together in simple but complex ways to create these unified workflows. If you want a system like this, then there's a couple of different options available for you. I'll start off with, if you want to build a system like this and learn some more of these advanced building techniques and mechanics that Nick and I have been using, then check out the course that I'm joining him on. It's hosted by Strategic Design and Nick, but I will be joining for one workflow. What one workflow? I'll be joining for one of the workshops, and I'll be joining the rest of the classes. So it will be really great to see you in there, and really great to build out some more really powerful experiences with you for these specific use cases. The next thing to be talking about is if you want to skip the build and you just want to go straight for it, we have the Business in Tana edition round 2 that's happening in November, or the end of November. The dates are all up on the side, and that is going to be a second take on the Business in Tana workshops that we did just before. It's delivered in a course fashion. I'll leave all the links in the description, and you can find out more details and sign up for the waiting lists, and more announcements for that will be coming soon. The last thing to mention is there will be an unknown, well, to be decided workshop that's happening in the middle of October that I will be hosting. It's going to be focused around how to mostly benefit from different things from all the different templates that I have. Business in Tana and Focus Pro and Streams users will benefit from this, and more to come from. There will be more to come from that soon in the near future. For now, in true Tana fashion, I'll say thank you very much for all your support again so far. Bye for now, and I'll see you in the next video.